Okay, so welcome back to this video. In the last video we have discussed the basic front end of the hospital management in our project, and we have also discussed the basic structure of the hospital management. In this video we will discuss the back end of the hospital management project. For learning about the back end, we have to learn about how we have to connect with the database. So it's pretty easy. All we have to do is we have to import this library called mysql.connector. It comes built in with this mysql software. So if you have downloaded this mysql software, you will see library called mysql connected there only, or you can download it from the web also. So after importing mysql connector, since it is a pretty big name, we can just make an alias and call it as sqlcon. Now after importing this library, what we will do is we will just make an instance called db, that stands for database, and we will just do sqlcon.connect, and it takes bunch of parameters. The first is host. These are all the necessary parameters. In the host, all we have to do is localhost. Then we have username. In the username, put your username. Since in my computer username is root, I have put in here as root. And in the password, what password is in your computer. Since it is Lucifer in my computer, I will put Lucifer here. After making an instance here, all we have to do is make an instance called cursor. This is basically the instance which does all the things in our computer, like executing queries, fetching data. Consider it as a user only. So for making cursor, we have to db.cursor. So suppose we have to make a query called like this. Let's say fetching all the data from the patient details, right? Another thing that I've forgotten here is that we can also make parameters called database. It is pretty optional, but if you want to reduce the code length, we can just put database here. And since in our project we have used database as hospitals, Chase Hospitals, so we'll just do that. And suppose I do this select star from patient details. So it will select all the details from the patients, but we have to first execute this query. So we will just do execute, and what we have executing this query. Suppose we have executed this query. Now we have to import the data also, right? So what we will do, we will make a variable. We will fetch all the details and store it in this data, in this variable, and all we have to do is just print this data, right? So let's run this. As you can see, all the data of the patients are here, but it is still not that much visible that you can't read this with ease. The readability is very low. So what we can do is we can also import another library called JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It's a language, and it is also very cool library for this Python. Now we can do it. We can just import. We can just dump this data into this JSON.dumps, and indent stands for indentation, and indent as 4. And if we run this now, see the details are printed here, and it is much more readable in my opinion. You can see the PID, the name, the age, gender, all these kinds of things. So in this way you fetch and you select all the details and you fetch all the query from the database. Suppose you want to make another query, what you can do is just change this query thing. Let's say select count star from the same table. So what it will do is it will count the number of patients in, and let's change the indent as 2. So as you will see, there are 5 patients in our table. So that's pretty much how you do this backend thing, and that's how we have done in our project also. First we have made this function called mysql username password. What it will do is it will use this library called EasyGUI, which has these kinds of modules called message box and password box, these kinds of things. Now all we have to do is we have make an variable called mysql username, it will ask you your MySQL username. By default it will take root only. So if you have selected OK, it will take root as your MySQL username. However, if you have chosen as cancel, and you will be asked to fill your MySQL username, and that username would be taken as your MySQL username, and then there is MySQL password, and your password would be stored in this MySQL password variable. After that, we have made a function called connect with database. Connect with database is just as its name suggests, it will try to connect with your database, the same as we have seen here. We have made an instance called dbcon, which stands for our database host, username, password, and after that it will make an instance called cursor here, and it will make it globalized so that it can be accessed in all the functions later on, and it will try to successfully connect with your database. Now there can be numerous problems with this. Connection with your database cannot be established because there can be number of reasons for that. Suppose your username is wrong, or your password is wrong, or the library is faulty, or something like that. So to safeguard this, we have made a try and accept block. First it will try, it will run this function connect with database. If it encounters any and all errors, it will ask you to fill your password and your username again, and it will again try to connect with your database. If even at this point your database connection is not established, it will just close the function and it will close the program, so that it acts as a security feature also. If your username and password is correct, all and good, your connection would be established and this cursor instance would be created. After this, we have made a function called create database and tables, because we have to make all the database and the tables in a fresh installation. So we have made this function, and it will execute all this query one at a time. First it will create this database, Chase Hospitals, use it, and then make these tables. After creating this table, you will be prompted to fill your by default data. This is to quick start program, so that you end up not wasting time filling unnecessary details. You just use the features, see the features of the project. So it will ask you to fill this if you want to fill this by default data. If you want, you can click on OK. If you don't want, you can just click on cancel. However, suppose we take the case that the details are already filled in your computer and you have selected OK. So it can create a lot of problem, because the data can be duplicated in your database, and it is not that good, and it will create an error also, and your program will just crash. So to bypass that and to safeguard that, we have made another try and accept block. Suppose you have chosen OK as your or yes as your choice, that is to insert by default data. It will first try to insert this by default data. If it encounters any error, suppose the data is already inserted into the database, it will just go to the accept block and it will just pass. After this, it is just piece of cake. See, all these functions, all this backend boils down to two things. First is fetch, and the other is commit. Fetch is you fetch details from the database, you do stuff with the details, and commit is you insert new details into the database, or you update new details into the database. Suppose we take the example of registration button. What it will do is, what registration does is, it creates these kinds of entry fields, and the user is asked to fill all these entries, the name, age, gender, all these kinds of things, and it will store them in this variables called name entry, age entry, all these kinds of things, and then it will submit them. It will insert them into the database. The pretty easy, the MySQL, the same code that we always use, insert into patient details, all this blah blah blah. Now I have also added these kinds of safeguard features. Suppose the blood group is not a valid blood group. These are the valid blood groups which can be inputted. Suppose the blood group inputted is not a valid blood group, it will show error. Suppose the contact number is not of length 10, it will again show error, and you will be asked to fill another contact number. Suppose any of the field is left or it is not filled, so it will again show error, and you will be asked to fill all the details. Suppose you have filled all the details correctly, so it will just insert into the table, and you will be prompted that all the details are successfully inserted, record added successfully, and your PID would be given. the PID is auto incremented. What that means is I have added this remark called auto increment into the definition of the function in the PID column. What it will do is, suppose as you have seen, there were 5 patients in our patient details table. What it will do is, when you insert another record into this patient details table, it will just increment the last PID. So the new patient would be given PID 6, and after that it will 7, 8. So I don't have to do anything, it will just auto increment every time you insert any details into the table. So it will show your PID. After that, let's say we take the example of patient details. Patient details was a lot trickier, since I wanted just a single field for a person to search. So I added that, and suppose the first field is you have selected as let's say age, and you have given age as 17. So there can be numerous instances of age 17 in your database. It will first it will try to fetch the details, exactly the details from the table, using the like and the wildcard clause. Suppose that the data fetched from the table is 0, that is no patient exists, so it will just show error that record not found. Suppose the details is exactly 1, that is only one patient is found, it will just move on. It will fetch all the details from the table, and it will go on to this display function, and it will display the result of the patient. But in case the data is greater than 1, which is in majority cases, if you have redundant data, that is blood group or age or these kinds of things, so it will just tell you that these number of records are found, and you will be asked to fill additional details, and it will move to this function called multiple fields. Multiple fields acts like this. It will again make another field, another entry field for you to enter, and it will again move on to this function, submit function, and it will move on to this patient details. Such the query would be inserted into the database, and it will be checked for 2 details at the moment now. And this, if the data is again found to be 1, it will move on, it will go on to 3 details. If the details is another again greater than 1, it will just show you that no records are found, please change your details. So this is how it was done for this function, search function. Now we will move on to this function called doctor details. It just a static page. It will select all the details from the doctor details table, and it will just print it down, nothing fancy in that. Now suppose we have we move on to this modify submit. What it will do is, first it will fetch all the details from the table patient details according to your PID. It will show it down, and another field would be there where you would be asked to change your details. New data would be fetched, and it will be updated into the table using this function called modify details. The appointment submit is again very easy. You just fetch and committing into your databases. And at the last we have got this room values. It will just select all the details from the rooms, and it will just show it down, nothing fancy in that. So this is how the backend was done. In the next video we will talk about the front end and the actual structure of the window and all the designs and all that thing. So I think this is enough for our video. Let's end this.